Small business operators are struggling to sustain themselves due to stiff competition with big franchises. They say it's unfair for the big four supermarket chains to have divisions selling food, clothes, medicine, liquor and hardware and manufacturing their in-house brands, among other things. 2 years ago, the operators submitted this concern to the Competition Commission Grocery Retail Market Inquiry, which took place in Johannesburg. Soweto Brand says the big four grocery retail stores should no longer be allowed to have divisions selling various types of unrelated products. Let's get an update on this matter. And we have Panichi Gundo, who is the founder of Soweto Brand. Thank you very much for coming, sir.
Thank you very much.
Right. Has the problem of the impact of monopolies on small businesses been alleviated since the matter has been raised with the Competition Commission?
Not at all, not at all. In fact, the situation somehow we could say has deteriorated, but in one way or the other, I could tell you that small businesses are in an uptick now because of the hemorrhaging of the mines and all the job losses that people are experiencing in the South African industry. So in one way or the other, you would see that small businesses have actually been invigorated by that, because as households income goes down, that means the types of goods and the commodities that they take also goes down. And that means they also have to reach to the small businesses if you have got the capability to actually reach these families and these communities whereby they have got less income. That means in terms of what they are purchasing also becomes less. That means we have got a synergy. That means there's a confluence between small businesses and what is happening in the South African economy.
There was a research done by Professor Lorenzo Fioramonti that big businesses trap consumers in shopping malls and make them to be a one-stop shop for all kind of products that even people who stay in townships and rural areas can't find there, and thus suffocating smaller businesses so that they cannot get walk-ins because they've already been catered for by the big businesses and monopolies. So what progress have you made in terms of the uptick that you are referring to see small business benefiting from the walk-ins?
Yeah, I think what is more important is for small business in one way or the other to actually rethink in terms of their models, in terms of while they do businesses. The only problem that we find mostly in small businesses, we don't do research, we don't do consumer research, we don't do consumer behavior analysis, we just sell. So in one way or the other, those are some of the Achilles' heels of small businesses, where they don't actually do their market analysis, understand who is their market, who buys my goods, and how do they make their decision? What is the consumer decision-making process that these people go through? When you have done that, you see that there's a hell lot of niche markets that small businesses can actually capitalize on. And yeah.
So in terms of market research and analysis, what's your view regarding the perception of products that have been manufactured by small black businesses in terms of pricing and inferiority and product value when you compare to products that customers have been loyal to all along? And then when you try to come up with innovation, smaller business coming up with new products, and you try market penetration, you are unable to because of their product loyalty and brand loyalty. So then, is that really based on the fundamentals, not really because of the monopolies, but the consumer behavior?
Yes, you see, what happens for people to buy something, they need to know it. That's the first thing that we need to understand. The unfortunate part of it is small businesses don't have the machinery, they don't have the capacity, they don't have money to actually manufacture the what I could call quality products. But what is happening in one way or the other, we actually have got China, which I understand if we could learn from China, we could actually capitalize on that and close that gap. The only problem that we have in South Africa right now is what I could call a warehouse economy. I've just seen very little of economists or of people who do research from universities, from the Department of Treasury and all this, where our economy is actually becoming what I could call a warehouse economy. that means we are just buying goods and services and actually wait for people to come and buy. We are not manufacturing anything. So that means in terms of our technologies, in terms of our innovation, in terms of our, whereas all other countries are going up, in South Africa, we are going down. And I can tell you since the 2008 recession, almost all the countries in the world, their economy have actually risen up in terms of growth. But vice versa, South Africa has been going down since 2008.
But isn't it because of this perceived exclusion from the whole value chain? Because you don't own the means of production, you are just market players.
Yeah, we need to go into the value chain. But for you to be able to join the value chain, it's like you are climbing a ladder. You need first of all to put your step on the first step. That is the situation that we don't have in South Africa. And we also don't have the thinking capacity to do that. And we also don't have what I could call a situation where we can't think simple. This economy needs simplicity. So we think high, we think difficult.
If it needs simplicity, why are you outclassed by the immigrant entrepreneurs, the foreign business operators who are in townships, who are renting your back rooms to sell products to the local communities? How come they are outclassing you? They are doing business right under your nose.
Yes, according to the study which was done, I think you would see that almost foreigners do well when they go to other countries. And you have even seen it in South Africa, where South Africans who migrate to other countries actually do very well. We have got the Tesla guy. I think you've seen what he's doing in America. He's doing miracles.
So why are tax shops operated by local South Africans not doing as well as tax shops that are operated by foreign nationals?
Because we don't have the mentality. We don't have the psychology. We don't have the thinking to do that. Because if you look at most of the countries which have actually been ravaged by war, if you go to Uganda, if you go to Nigeria, if you go to Zimbabwe, go to Harare, you see people moving. You see people, getting to do the business. You see. So here in South Africa, you could see, I could give you a very good example. We have got City Deep, where we've got Johannesburg fruit and vegetable. If you go to the townships, there are no vegetables. There are no bananas. I was in the township recently. I was told bananas are too expensive here because we don't have them. But we've got a short distance from probably Soweto to City Deep, to Johannesburg supermarket, for you to be able to buy the bananas and go and sell them into the location. But we don't have the mentality. And if you ask the generality of the people and ask them, do you know where Johannesburg City fruit and vegetable is? They hardly even know it.
It looks like this is a long road to travel, so let's leave this interview here. We'll have to follow up on the solutions to small business in terms of the struggles that are facing at the moment. For now, thank you very much for making time. To be continued.